Bonjour les élèves. Good afternoon, good morning. Bon appétit. The name of this lesson is Bon appétit. Aller au restaurant, meaning going to a restaurant. In French, we always use bon appétit before taking lunch or dinner. Before we go into details, let's first know a few words related to food. Le petit déjeuner is the breakfast. Le déjeuner is the lunch. Le dîner is the dinner. Le souper is the supper. Le déjeuner means the lunch, and déjeuner means also to have lunch. It means that déjeuner, if added with an article in front of it, it means it's a noun, like j'invite Raman pour le déjeuner. J'invite Raman pour le déjeuner means I am inviting Raman for a lunch. Je déjeune avec Raman. Je déjeune avec Raman means I am having lunch with Raman. Je prends mon petit déjeuner très tôt le matin. Je prends mon petit déjeuner très tôt le matin means I take my breakfast early in the morning. Je déjeune vers le midi. Je déjeune vers le midi means I take my lunch around noon. Je prends mon dîner vers 18 heures. Je prends mon dîner vers 18 heures means I take my dinner at 6 o'clock. Now, we will do a lesson about going to a restaurant. We are at the Sorbonne University in Paris, and we would like to go to a restaurant called La Maison Végétarienne, and it's a famous restaurant. So now I will say all these things in French. Nous sommes à l'Université de Sorbonne. Nous sommes à l'Université de Sorbonne. Nous allons à la Maison Végétarienne. Nous allons à la Maison Végétarienne. C'est un restaurant célèbre. So we come out on the street. So we are asking a lady how to find out the restaurant called Maison Végétarienne. Moi. Excusez-moi, madame, où se trouve le restaurant Maison Végétarienne? Excusez-moi, madame, où se trouve le restaurant Maison Végétarienne? Madame, ce n'est pas loin du tout. Ce n'est pas loin du tout. Vous allez tout droit, tournez à droite, puis vous marchez jusqu'à la rue des Écoles, puis tournez à droite encore, et le restaurant est à votre gauche sur la rue des Écoles. Moi. Merci, madame. So before we go into the details, we will again repeat the conversation. Écoutez bien, listen properly so that you don't get any mispronunciation. Excusez-moi, madame, où se trouve le restaurant Maison Végétarienne? Ce n'est pas loin du tout. Ce n'est pas loin du tout. Vous allez tout droit, tournez à droite, puis vous marchez jusqu'à la rue des Écoles, puis tournez à droite encore. Le restaurant est à votre gauche sur la rue des Écoles. Merci, madame. So on the map, you can see how to take the direction. Ce n'est pas loin du tout. So the lady has said, ce n'est pas loin du tout. It means it's not far at all. It's not far at all. Then she said, vous allez tout droit. Then she said, vous allez tout droit. Go straight. Tournez à droite. Tournez à droite. Turn right. Puis vous marchez jusqu'à la rue des Écoles. Puis vous marchez jusqu'à la rue des Écoles. Means then you walk straight up to rue des Écoles. Puis tournez à droite encore. Puis tournez à droite encore means then turn right again. Encore is again. Et le restaurant est à votre gauche sur la rue des Écoles. Et le restaurant est à votre gauche sur la rue des Écoles. And the restaurant is on your left. And the restaurant is on your left on the rue des Écoles. So, as I had said before, j'invite Ramon pour le déjeuner avec moi. I have invited Ramon to take lunch with me. Dans le restaurant, on choisit une table. Dans le restaurant, on choisit une table. In the restaurant, we choose a table. Ramon s'assoit devant moi. Ramon s'assoit devant moi. Ramon is seated in front of me. J'ai faim. Now, we are going to learn a few expressions, such as j'ai faim. J'ai faim means I'm hungry. Demandez la carte. Demandez la carte means ask for the menu. Means ask for the menu. À la carte. So, in the menu, you have different kinds and different segments, as you know, in English as well. So, in the menu, dans la carte, il y a des plats, there are dishes, les apéritifs, the starters, les boissons, the drinks, et les desserts, and the desserts. So, in the plat, we have different kind of choices, and in France, when you ask for any food, usually you get bread as a complimentary thing. So, you don't need to ask for a bread separately. So, how do you call a bread? It's called a pain. Je voudrais un pain means I want a slice of bread. Je voudrais un gâteau means I would like to have a cake. So, now we will go into the conversation with the waiter in the restaurant. Le garçon, bonjour messieurs. Le garçon, bonjour messieurs. Moi, bonjour. Le garçon, vous voulez quoi? Vous voulez quoi? Moi, je voudrais un plat végétarien. Je voudrais un plat végétarien. Le garçon, et vous, monsieur? Ramon, je voudrais une part de pizza. Je voudrais une part de pizza. Le garçon, vous voulez quelque chose à boire? Vous voulez quelque chose à boire? Moi, de l'eau s'il vous plaît. De l'eau s'il vous plaît. Ramon, je veux un verre de l'eau pétillante. Je veux un verre de l'eau pétillante. Le garçon, merci. Moi, merci à vous. Now, in the beginning of the conversation, the garçon, the waiter, had said, bonjour messieurs. Bonjour messieurs. Because there is me and Ramon. So, Ramon and I are two. That's why he said, bonjour messieurs. But when the waiter asked Ramon, what do you want to drink? He said, et vous, monsieur? Et vous, monsieur? So, monsieur is the plural form of monsieur. So, bonjour, messieurs, and et vous, monsieur? And then there are two verbs which we have already learnt in the previous lessons, manger and boire. So, we have learnt je mange, tu manges, il mange, elle mange, nous mangeons, vous mangez, il mange, elle mange. And remember, there are some spelling, nous mangeons, M-A-N-G-E-O-N-S in English, in French, M-A-N-G-E-O-N-S, nous mangeons. Boire. Boire means to drink. Je bois, tu bois, il boit, elle boit, Vous buvez, nous buvons, ils boivent, elles boivent. So, these are two very useful verbs in French, manger and boire. Je mange un gâteau means I am eating a cake. Je mange un pain means I am eating a bread. Je bois du lait means I am drinking water. Similarly, when we go for the negation, je ne mange pas de la viande. Je ne mange pas de viande. Je ne mange pas de viande means I don't take meat. Je ne bois pas du lait. Je ne bois pas de lait means I do not drink milk. So, now we know when we go to a restaurant, we can also express what we drink and what we eat. So, in a restaurant, when we go, we normally ask for a menu. Excusez-moi, monsieur, donnez-moi la carte means, excuse me, sir, please give me the menu. Or, excusez-moi, madame, donnez-moi la carte means, excuse me, ma'am, please give me the menu. S'il vous plaît is please. So, excusez-moi, madame, donnez-moi la carte, s'il vous plaît. And in the menu, we have seen there are different categories. So, je voudrais un apéritif means I want a starter. Je voudrais un plat means I want a dish. Je voudrais un dessert means I want a sweet dish or dessert. So, with this thing, now we can go to a restaurant and converse with the waiter. Now, going back to the conversation, he asked, vous voulez quoi? Vous voulez quoi? What do you want? Je voudrais un plat végétarien. Je voudrais un plat végétarien. I want a vegetarian dish. And Raman said, je voudrais une part de pizza. And Raman said, je voudrais une part de pizza. Raman wanted a pizza. A pizza in French is called une part de pizza. And then the waiter asked, would you like to drink something? Vous voulez quelque chose à boire? Vous voulez quelque chose à boire? I had replied, de l'eau s'il vous plaît. De l'eau s'il vous plaît means I want water. And Raman said, je veux un verre de l'eau pétillante. Je veux un verre de l'eau pétillante. L'eau pétillante means sparkling water. And the garçon then said, merci. The garçon had said, merci means thanks. And I had replied, merci à vous means thanks to you. Now, when we have restaurants, we have two possibilities. Le buffet, buffet means buffet, where you have multiple choices and you go and choose whatever you want to eat, and à la carte. À la carte is you have to choose from the menu. L'eau pétillante is sparkling water. L'eau plate is plain water or normal water. Bon appétit. Bon appétit is a word which we have learned right in the beginning. So, before you start your lunch or dinner in France or in the continent, in Europe in generally you say bon appétit. Où trouver un pain? We have learned un pain, pain is bread. So, French bread or baguette is globally known. So, where do you find un pain? Where do you find un gâteau? Un gâteau is a cake. You find a pain or a bread at the boulangerie. Boulangerie. On va aller à la boulangerie. And you might have heard already, even in India, pâtisserie. Then what is a pâtisserie? Pâtisserie is used to describe the French pastries and the pastry shops they are sold in. So, patisserie is at the same time the thing and also the shop where you get the thing. Although the word is used quite liberally in English speaking countries, in France and in Belgium, the law restricts its use to the bakeries who employ the licensed maître pâtissier, master pastry chefs. And boulangerie. Boulangerie is a typically French bread shop. A boulangerie is a French bakery as opposed to a pastry shop. Bakeries must bake their own bread on the premises to hold the title of boulangerie in France, while a boulangerie may also sell patisserie and viennoiserie. And this is a new word we are learning, viennoiserie. Their main trade will be in the traditional French breads such as baguette and pain de campagne. So, just to resume it, at the boulangerie you get French loaf, which is a long loaf which we have seen perhaps everywhere, even in India, which is called in French baguette, and pain de campagne. Pain de campagne is country bread. Country bread is round in shape and it is a huge dough which turns into a huge bread and normally lasts more than the baguette. So, coming back to the boulangerie. So, boulangerie is a shop where normally you get French bread, that is baguette, and pain de campagne and country bread. And now we are coming to viennoiserie. Viennoiserie comes from the word Vienna. Viennoiserie refers to the breakfast pastries made in the style of Vienna, Austria. While they do not originate in France, viennoiserie rose to prominence after an Austrian military official, Auguste Zang, opened a bakery called Boulangerie Viennoise in Paris, bringing the new ideas to the French pastry circles. So, today if you go to Paris, you will see there are many shops which will write boulangerie, patisserie and viennoiserie. Viennoiserie is the bridge between the patisserie and the French bread. These goods are typically made with flour and active yeast cultures, which cause the dough to rise quickly and achieve the perfect flakiness. Some are instead made using an enriched puff pastry. So, we must have heard French croissant or croissant. So, croissant, brioche, they are particular item of the viennoiserie. In fact, in France, we find a boulanger. A boulanger is the person who runs the boulangerie. In France, a boulangerie is found in every corner. En France, on trouve un boulanger dans chaque coin. Now, I would also tell you something about French cuisine which might be of your interest, that in France, by a special law made in 1993, not everybody can use the word boulangerie, and it requires a certain kind of license to call it a boulangerie. What I would like to request you, after this class, you can search the repas indien and la cuisine française. Le repas indien means the Indian food and la cuisine française means the French cuisine. Le repas indien consists of le riz is the rice, le pain is bread, Indian traditional bread which we call chapati or fulka or roti, and il y a le curry is curry, les légumes, the vegetables, and at times les viandes, meat and non-vegetarian items. La cuisine française. La cuisine française consiste en apéritif. La cuisine française consists of apéritifs, les plats, les boissons et les gâteaux et les desserts. Le gâteau et le dessert, c'est la même chose. It's more or less the same thing. So, what I would like to request you at the end of this lesson, you go and you look for les repas indiens and their equivalent in French words and la cuisine française and come to know about French cuisine. Bonne continuation et à la prochaine. Au revoir.